your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
The Rangers and the Twins today at 11:30, and then Balls and Strikes at a little after noon today. So, lunch hour baseball for you today on Double T 97.3 and into the afternoon as you're skating around town. The Stanley Cup Final also tonight on Double T 97.3. That'll take place at 6:30 this evening. So if you're into the hockey and want to stay in tune, if you've got nighttime activities, you can be with us right here on Double T 97.3. The Florida Panthers lead this series 2-1. If they win, Jamie, they would skate for the cup on Saturday in Edmonton. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So we'll see. We'll see if they can get that large 3-1 advantage by playing at home tonight. All right. We'll have that for you again at 6:30, and then we'll have the Astros and the White Sox at 6:40 on 100.7 The Score. I may be late to the party on this story, but I saw this last night, and I wanted to get your take on it because I think he's handled it reasonably well, all things considered. This is the Hunter Dobbins story with regard to his dad and his relationship with the Yankees and Andy Pettitte. Have you seen this story?
Yes.
And what's your take on it?
Well, tell the story.
Okay, so basically, Hunter Dobbins talked about how he was a Red Sox fan growing up, and that he said he would rather retire than sign with the Yankees. And then he mentioned that his dad, Lance Dobbins, was really good friends with Andy Pettitte and had a short career with the Yankees. He said he was actually drafted twice by the Yankees, signed with him his last year, and then got traded over to the Diamondbacks. The story goes off the rails because the New York Post's Joel Sherman did some fact-checking, and he couldn't verify any of the claims, and there was no record of a draft pick under that name of Lance Dobbins. The general manager of the Yankees, Brian Cashman, who's been with the club since 1998 and had been with the team's front office since 1986, said he had no memory of drafting Lance Dobbins, and a check with the amateur department revealed no such pick. So it appears that it was maybe his dad got a little just too flamboyant with the story. Then Hunter Dobbins said the whole backstory is just stuff that I had heard growing up and seeing pictures from my dad. At the end of the day, it's just for my dad and what kind of grew my love for the game. At the end of the day, I don't go and fact check my dad or anything like that, which I thought, okay, you know what? That's a fair way to handle that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you open yourself up to be questioned on things when you say what he said.
Sure. Okay,
about he'd rather retire than pitch for the Yankees, when there was no real serious reason for that. The supposed story of the Yankees wronging his father was completely made up. Whether it was by Hunter or by his father, I don't know. His mouth kind of got him in a little bit of trouble here.
Sure.
Yeah, and so this is why I don't always believe it's best to open your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's better to just stay quiet, and not over-exaggerate things and all the above. So now he's being questioned as either he or his dad is a liar, okay? And one or the other. It sounds like, Hunter just heard stories growing up or was confused. I don't know, but I bet he's regretting making the initial comments at this point.
He was asked about the fallout of the Post stories, and he goes, "It doesn't faze me, doesn't bother me. I love working with the media and everybody here. Everybody's been great, so my focus is performing for the guys here in the locker room, for the fans of Boston. Something that's just a few hours away doesn't faze me."
yeah, whatever. I mean, it's good. It's good. I mean, he's not gonna admit, man, I hate the fact that they figured out I'm a liar, or that somebody in my family is a liar.
Yeah.
That I told untruths. Let's just say that, whether it was his fault or not.
Do you think his dad needs to come out and say, "Hey, I used to tell Hunter these stories. We were just trying to help develop the love of the game for him." And
personally, I think they should both walk away as far away from it as they can possibly be away from it right now.
Okay.
That's what I think.
And
just shut up and it'll go away.
And Dobbins is
hopefully. I mean, it'll never go away for Yankee fans. Those people are going to boo him to the day he's done.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. I mean, and because he's gonna pitch against the Yankees on Saturday. So what is scheduled?
Yeah, but it's in Boston. So
okay, so that would be better. Yeah. It's not like the Yankees are going to roll out Andy Pettitte to throw out the first pitch.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Andy Pettitte stuff. I mean, is he friends with Andy Pettitte? I don't have any idea.
Yeah. But there was a Red Raider pitcher whose parents were friends with Andy Pettitte, right?
Ryan Shetter.
Yeah, Ryan Shetter, yeah.
Yeah, like very close friends.
Yeah.
The Ryan Shetter is not Hunter Dobbins.
No, I know that.
Those are two different people.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if Ryan just like, hey, that was a cool story, Ryan. Or that Hunter said, hey, that was really cool, the story that Ryan had. Yeah. I'm going to go with it.
Right.
I don't know. It's unfortunately not a good look for a Red Raider. And again, I think he may be completely innocent in this.
Mm-hmm. He might be.
Maybe just family members. I don't know, but maybe his dad was just a Red Sox fan, and they built up the story of the Yankees wronging him to make it seem better. I don't know, but it's not a good look.
It's a story that's kind of run away from him a little bit. But
no, he needs it to run away from him. It's not running away from him right now. It's going to keep coming back.
No, I meant the story. I mean, he got too caught up in it, and then overshared, and then they started looking at him like, man.
Told untruths. Don't forget that part. Again, it might not be his fault.
May not be his fault.
He may be telling exactly what he believed to be true. Mm-hmm. And I also don't blame him for not fact-checking his father.
Right.
But either he or somebody in his family has kind of made him look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that all could have gone away if Hunter just kind of kept his mouth shut.
Right. Hadn't said anything about it. Right. Yeah. But sometimes when you open up your mouth, you reveal yourself, which I'm certainly at fault from time to time.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
For this day in sports history, today is June the 12th, 2025. Here's Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Starting in 1920, the 15th Belmont was run. Clarence Coomer aboard Man o' War wins by a massive 20 lengths in a world record 2:14.2.
That's a name you remember.
Mm-hmm. Only because of MASH.
That's
the only reason I remember it.
Okay. Okay, but I mean, when you think about it, I mean, that they'd already done it 15. That was the 15th, and that was in 1920. That's, over 100 years ago. It's impressive, those horse races.
1939, Baseball Hall of Fame is dedicated in Cooperstown, New York.
All right.
1957, Stan Musial plays in his 823rd game, a new National League consecutive game streak.
I had a buddy of mine whose grandson played at a tournament at Cooperstown. I don't know if they played at the same field as your hallowed days, but when he sent that to me, I thought, oh, Jamie played in that park.
Doubleday Field,
and put a big dent on the wall.
No, not so much.
Have him go check it out, see if it was still there.
And now I want pizza rolls. 1991, NBA Finals. Chicago Bulls beat the LA Lakers 108-101 in Game 5 for the first of 3 straight titles. Michael Jordan gets his first NBA Finals MVP in his first NBA Finals appearance.
Were you an MJ fan at that point already?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
He was a fan of MJ after he beat Georgetown.
Yeah, the moment he hit the shot against Georgetown, he became my favorite player.
He became your favorite player. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Because he beat Georgetown.
Yeah, no, I got
Jamie's
you.
a simple
He
guy.
stayed my favorite player until the Croatian sensation came in the league.
And then he earned your love, the Croatian sensation.
Appreciation, and at the same time finding out a lot more about the personality that was Michael Jordan. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
In 2004, junior Jonathan Johnson earns Texas Tech's first NCAA men's outdoor 800-meter title by 0.4 of a second with a 1:46.39 time. And in 2015, Texas Tech high jumpers Jacorian Duffield and Bradley Atkins make history, equaling their indoor feat, going 1-2 at the NCAA outdoor meet.
Yeah.
It is National Jerky Day, National Peanut Butter Cookie Day, and International Falafel Day.
What?
Falafel.
What is a falafel?
I think we've had this discussion before. It's the cone thingy. I don't know a better way to describe it. I know them when I see them. That's the best I can tell you.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about now. Jamie, peanut butter cookie or piece of jerky, if you had your choice.
I'm not really this will shock you guys. I'm not really a jerky guy.
Okay.
Just a jerky
I didn't
guy.
think you were, but then I was thinking, well, maybe the hiking has
I do.
put-
I mean, that's when I do it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I would much rather have the peanut butter cookie.
yeah.
Happy birthday goes out to Dave Franco, who turns 40. Timothy Busfield is 68. Dallas Clark, 46. And Hideki Matsui is 51. And on this day, in 1987,
Behind me stands a wall that encircles the free sectors of this city, part of a vast system of barriers that divides the entire continent of Europe. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Well, we were all waiting for that, weren't we? Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Jamie Lent, I've got a lucky local word for you.
Okay.
Okay. Your lucky local word this morning at 6:51, and your opportunity to win $500 from the Home Zone, making your house a home, and Double T 97.3 is just a little search away. Go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com. Click on the lucky local word contest there that you see. If you're not signed up and qualified, then get your keister over there and do that. If you are, enter this word. And after you get qualified, you can enter this word as well. Jazz. Jazz. As in the Utah Jazz. J-A-Z-Z, jazz. Okay? Not jazzy or anything like that, but jazz. J-A-Z-Z, jazz. Very simple. That's your lucky local winning word at 6:51 this morning here on Double T 97.3 from the Home Zone and Double T 97.3. All right. Let's see. 6:51 this morning. Somebody asked this question. How impressed are you with what Jerry Glasgow, the coach of the softball team, did in the portal yesterday? That's impressive, Jamie.
Yeah, no doubt. You're plucking off two players from College World Series teams. You're talking about a girl that was previously the Pac-12's Freshman of the Year. Hitters that we talked about this team being a team that was 100% led by Nigeri Kennedy's pitching, but you were, probably could use a little bit more offense, and it feels like you've really gone after the offensive players with Burns from Ohio State and and the 3 girls you brought in yesterday, 2 specifically, who are big home run hitters and RBI, run producers. So I feel like you're filling in the holes nicely. I don't know how this team wouldn't be favored to be the national champion as of right now.
Yeah, Jasmine Burns comes in, as you said, from Ohio State. She's a catcher. 455, 25 home runs.
Yeah, she was the one that was earlier this week. There were 3 others.
No, 3 others, okay.
Yeah, yesterday. Jackie Liss from Southern Illinois, Mia Williams from Florida, and Terry, a pitcher/outfielder from UCLA.
Okay. And you needed another pitcher. I mean, we all saw that firsthand. With just trying to put too much. I mean,
so you wonder if that would have one of the other pitchers, Riosetto or trying to remember, Samantha Lincoln, one of those 2. You wonder if one of them will hit the portal with another pitcher coming in.
Yeah,
that's just the name of the game.
It is the name of the game. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
You've added some big bats, so and it's gonna shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, right, right.
But the potential with this roster, it's really impressive. I mean, you think about only losing 2 starters. You think about losing 2 seniors. Okay, yes, you've had girls hit the portal, but none of them were quote-unquote key ones. I mean, I think Reagan Jennings could have been. She's good enough, but, she was playing behind Langoliers at second. So you're bringing back your stud pitcher. I mean, you're bringing back some young players on the left side of the infield that were really good for you. 5 girls that were first or second team all Big 12 are back with this team.
What more do you want, right?
I mean, this team is absolutely loaded. I don't know how they can't be preseason number 1.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's been a rough couple of days for the old music guys. So we got 2 down, potentially 1 to go. I don't know who's on the list, but you had Sly Stone, Brian Wilson. Who's next, Jeff?
My answer for this is always Keith Richards. At some point, it's going to be right. It may be in 150 years, but at some point, it's going to be Keith Richards.
It's amazing that he and Mick Jagger are still upright, given all their stuff, right?
The list of reasons that
Steven Tyler too
should not be around anymore,
right? And
just continues to keep on being Keith Richards.
He keeps unplugging, right?
Nothing but respect for him. I'm not wishing any ill will.
Sure, right.
But whenever I'm asked that question, he's the one I pick.
Okay, that's fair. Centex Inc. Offers this. Jimmy, I'll get your reaction to this. Have to admit, I love how much envy and PR Tech is generating by being so aggressive in this new era of college sports. I don't ever remember Tech athletics being so talked about on a national scale.
That's probably fair as far as the
national scale.
Yeah, the number of mentions you're getting because of things like adding players and being good and high preseason expectations for football, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. In this On3 article, I think it's fair to say that, when Joey McGuire took this job, he probably didn't think, hey, by year 4, people are going to be like, okay, hey, college football playoff, Big 12 championship game or bust. The dynamic has changed dramatically, obviously, with what you've done in the portal and the amount of money that you've spent and on player acquisition. Now you're trying to get yourself, in position, and you look at your schedule and go, okay, that's a pretty good opportunity that you have right here in front of you. It's a great opportunity that you have right here in front of you, because you do this. Let's just dare to dream for a second here. Let's just say you you make it to the college football playoff. Okay.
I don't feel like you have to feel like that's a dream scenario. I mean, obviously it's a great scenario, but I mean, I don't think like it's crazy talk. Like
No.
Wildest.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, let's just say that does happen, okay? And let's say by hook or by crook, that you get a home game. Man alive. Can you imagine what this town would be like? It'd be crazy.
I think it'd be pretty crazy whether you host it or not. They'd be pretty stoked.
Right. But I mean, just the fact that you could potentially have something here like that. Obviously, you've got a long ways to go to get to that position, because you would most likely need to win the Big 12 championship in order to do that, to host a game. Of course, if you won the Big 12 championship, you might get a first round bye.
It's possible.
You know, when you think about it, when you think about it. So
with the restructure of the college football playoff, I'll be shocked if it's not two Big Ten, two SEC teams.
They get the first round buys.
Get the first round buys.
Yeah. And you're probably right about that. That's probably a fair deal. Did you see Sooner Lubbock? He's listening from Orlando, Florida this morning. So I don't know if he's down there for Disney World or Universal, or maybe he's just down there on business. But thanks for chiming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 973 mobile app, where he's listening.
Hopefully he's getting a little vacation in.
Yeah, maybe going down to seeing the sights, or going to see Mickey Mouse, or...
See, I want to know what the future's like, because he's an hour ahead of us. He knows what's going to happen.
Sun will keep rising, Jeff.
Funny guy.
I mean, it's not wrong. He's in the future.
Yeah.
He's at 8:15. Well, 8:20 now.
What would you say?
Unlike yesterday when Chuck said it was 7:15 to 6:15, it really was 7:15.
Yeah, where he is, right,
Yeah.
where he is. I was just kind of trying to move it ahead a little bit. What's your confidence factor today of getting to the Big 12 championship game? Just getting to it.
On a scale of 10, probably about 6.5.
Okay. I had 7 in my head for me. 7 out of 10. So, I mean, there's obvious stumbling blocks. If you had to look at the Big 12 and you said, okay, which team do you think has the highest percentage of making it to the Big 12 championship game? Or that you would say, I'd be shocked if they weren't in it.
I wouldn't say that about anybody.
You wouldn't, okay?
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I think there's 6 teams or so that could make it and wouldn't shock me at all. So that means that there's 6 good teams, only 2 of them are going to make it.
Right. See, I kind of feel like that if BYU didn't make it at this point in time, I think I would be shocked by that.
Are they going to keep their quarterback or not?
Well, that's a good question.
That's why I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it last year.
I know, but I mean, they're just...
And with as much emphasis on their perception with their quarterback is, you going to tell me he's not going to twist an ankle somewhere and miss 4 games? If it's that important for them, when we just ask one question and we're like, I don't know now, they're one play away from not being close.
I definitely could not say shocked with BYU, even if they have their quarterback. It's not like they've run off 4 straight years where they've been in it and won it.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean,
I think they're one of the favorites.
Yeah.
Just like the Red Raiders. But
yeah.
The Big 12 is up for grabs again. Go get it.
Yep.
No, I think that
coulda, shoulda, woulda last year.
Right. Coulda, shoulda, woulda last year. Let's see. We have fans that called to fire Jerry. I think those were stupid fans that called to fire Jerry Glasgow last week. And I think the follow-up to this is bless Joey's heart if they go 9-3. Yeah, 9-3, but still 9-3. What does that look like? Is that 9-3 with a loss to Oregon State? Is that 9-3 with losses to K-State, BYU, and let's just say Arizona State? Is that because you had some key injuries that forced you to play people that you didn't think you were going to have to play. What does all that look like? I mean, I think that's also the perspective that you have to have. Well, hey, what if everything goes right? Everything goes right. You could. I'm not going to sit here and say that you could run the table, but
you could.
You could.
I don't think there's any games on your schedule where you feel like, man,
shaking in their boots. Yeah.
You don't have a shot at that one.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, North Texas isn't on the schedule this year.
They're not. They're not. It always comes back to that, doesn't it? Well, I guess it's in fairness.
Kansas State is on the schedule, so I'm still a little weary of going and running through the Big 12.
Right, because I mean, if we were doing upon further review right now on Halloween Day, I mean, if I were just to put that game on the schedule right now, Jeff would say that K-State was going to win. No matter what your record was going into that game, Jeff's going to say K-State's winning 2-0, right?
No, I'd have a score for that.
You'd have a score for that? But no matter if you're undefeated, Tech's undefeated going into that game, you'd say
if Tech is undefeated and Kansas State hasn't won a football game yet, I might have to think about it.
That seems silly.
Well, you've been around this show a day or two. 7:25 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Jamie's question of the day is next.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys, talking Texas Tech football here and kind of continuing our conversation. We've talked a lot about expectations for next year and ways we think the Red Raiders will improve. I would like you to flip that right now and pick one position group, one player that you do not think will improve on what they did last year. And for the sake of this question, I am removing the running back position group because of how much you relied on Taj Brooks. I feel like that's the default answer. No one expects you to have that kind of running attack this year.
So the group that won't improve.
Doesn't mean they get worse, just means they won't improve.
I'll go first. I think the easy answer is kicker.
That was the first thing that was in my head, too.
Be really hard to beat what you were last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. Because I mean, your corners got up their worst, and man, geez, whew. If your offensive line isn't it's got to be big improvement. Same thing with your defensive line. You might make a case for, you might make a case for, okay, I'll just play the devil's advocate here. I'll just say, if Jacob Rodriguez has the same year that he had last year, I think you're feeling pretty good. I'm not sure that he can be above what he did last year. So I'll say Jacob Rodriguez.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah. When I was thinking of this question, you guys have kind of hit on the two groups that I immediately thought of. And it's not that they were bad last year, but of how good that both. You missed 2 kicks.
Right.
2 last year. And you're Jacob Rodriguez, you're talking all Big 12 type player. Your linebacker group in general, I would be surprised if they were going to play better than they did last year. That doesn't mean I expect a fall off. But they played really well. Some of that they had to, because your defensive line was so bad, they had to be the ones making the tackles.
Well, you would think along those lines, Jeff, with the improvement that you believe that you have made along the defensive line, there may be less opportunities for Jacob Rodriguez to make tackles because those guys up front are making plays and they're not getting through to the second level as much. But at the same time, Jacob Rodriguez is also a really good pass rusher from the linebacker position. And also, defensive tackles don't make a ton of tackles. What their job is to do is to
force the issue.
Well, I mean, try to create havoc a little bit, but also take on offensive linemen and allow those linebackers to come make the plays a lot of times. So, yeah, I think Jacob Rodriguez is a really good answer.
Well, and then, with regard to kicking, I mean, gosh, there's a part of me that hopes that you're not kicking as many field goals as you did last year and that you're you're scoring touchdowns instead, because man, you kicked a lot of field goals last year when your offense got mired down, even inside the 30. I mean, or inside the 40. For instance, of the 20 field goals that you made last year, 15 of those came inside the 40. So, and 5 of those 20 came inside the 30-yard line. Now, fortunately, you didn't have any inside the 19-yard line, and then you had 2 kicks that were beyond 50, and you made one of them. The longest that you made all season long was, and this is Gino Garcia. As a team, you went 20 of 27 Gino goes 19 of 20. Reese Burkhart went 3 of 4, so you went 22 of 26. And Reese Burkhart
22 of 24.
22 of 24. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I missed 2.
Yeah, missed 2. 22 of 24. I don't know why I added 2 plus 4 and got 6.
It goes back to what we said yesterday.
2 plus 4 does make 6.
Right.
But
I went 20.
20 plus 4 makes 24.
Right. Again, the math.
I'd also say when it comes to the field goal kicking, if they don't kick as many, I don't know that I will be critical of that, because that's not in their control. It's the misses. Those are what you count for your kickers. And missing just 2 on a season is a really, really good year for your kickers. That percentage is what I look at when
sure,
I'm
no, and I hear what you're saying. I'm just hopeful that your red zone touchdowns are higher, than what you had last year. I mean, you scored when you're in the red zone, you were 40 of 62, 65%. Your opponents were less, 36 of 57. So you think about some of those games where it was really close, and you forced them to kick a field goal, or it could have been a couple of losses there.
Yeah, I will also say this. I, for one, would rather kick a field goal than be going for it on 4th down all the time and coming up empty and getting no points and having that be a big momentum swing. So I'll take the 3s and put points on the board and keep momentum on your side rather than risking it too much. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, when you're talking about kicking a lot of field goals in the red zone, first and foremost, that means you move down the field and put yourself in that position. So
I got
if you look at the number of field goals you kicked in the red zone, you're like, oh, that's too many. Well, would you have been better off if we just stalled out at the midfield and punted?
No,
I'd rather you get the red zone, stall, and kick a field goal.
I was just hopeful that more touchdowns is really what I was hoping.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we all want more touchdowns.
That's really, to me, that's on the offensive line as much as anything. You've got to, when the field gets shorter, you've got to be able to run the football successfully. Everybody knows that, including the opposing defense. And as we've said for years and years and years, you can run the football at times, but are you a good short yardage situation running team? I don't think you have been. I think really last year you were better because I thought Conyers as a lead blocker and Taj running behind him was really, really good. Or vice versa, when you would put Conyers in the Wildcat formation and have Taj be his lead blocker, then I thought those were both 2 scenarios where you really ran the ball pretty well in short yardage situations. So, yeah, I'm not as bothered by the kicking field goals in the red zone. That means at least you were able to march down the field and get points on the board.
Sure, I mean, you'd rather have that than nothing. I just was.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot less of those if you just go 3 and out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right. No, I got you.
That's not good.
That's not ideal. No,
yeah.
It's not. Somebody said this. I got in the truck and heard Jeff immediately talk about K-State and his take on it, and laughed. He says, "Thank you, gentlemen." All right.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Jeff, you ever see the Beach Boys in concert?
Once at Astroworld.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. They did a summer concert. Like, I want to say there was a different concert that came through every Saturday night, and the Beach Boys were one of them. And we just happened to be there that night. It was cool.
And it was the full-fledged...
as far as I know.
As far as you know, as many as that were available.
As many as that were there, yes. I don't think...
was Brian
John
Wilson?
Stamos was there.
Okay.
Because he's their official drummer. Like,
right.
Legitimately, their official drummer. I don't think he was there because I think the crowd... I don't want to say the crowd would have been bigger, but it would have been bigger at that time. But I know Brian was there. I can't remember who else was there. They put on a good show. It was fun.
And see, the last time that we saw them here, I mean, Brian Wilson wasn't here, but Kevin Wilson was here. But John Stamos was the drummer, and they were right down the street here at Buddy Holly Hall. And it's funny because you wouldn't think of John Stamos. You think of him for a lot of things, but,
No, he's a really talented drummer.
He is. You're exactly right.
He is definitely an actor who drums, but the highest compliment he has told people is if you tell me I'm a drummer who acts, that's the highest compliment you can give me.
Yeah. So there you go. So
super relaxed dude. I've seen interviews with him talking with the musicians, and he's in awe of everybody when it comes to their talent. And when people are talking to him about music, it's like a kid in a candy store. He's just like soaking it all up, and couldn't be more welcoming of everybody that he comes in contact with.
Of course, they played here a number of times, and I don't know what the year was, but at Buffalo Springs Lake, if you go out to Buffalo Springs Lake, and you'll see in the camping ground as you go around the lake, you'll see a big, huge concrete, what looks like just a slab of concrete, and it's built up. And it was a stage that was built when the Beach Boys appeared at Buffalo Springs Lake back in the, I want to say 70s at some point in time. And there's some rails on it, and I think they use it occasionally, but it's outside the amphitheater that they have there now. But it was used as a stage for the Beach Boys. So there you go. At least that's my understanding.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see. 8:04 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that of the mobile app. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We haven't talked a whole lot of Cowboys, but they're in their mandatory mini camp. And Micah Parsons is there, okay? Mm-hmm. He's taking part in some things, and he's not taking part in other things. But I think at least the fact he's at least there. I mean, of course, it is, quote, mandatory. And it's part of their, getting their playbook installed and getting things ready for, the training camp and obviously the season. The first day he begged out because of some back soreness that he said he had acquired with training with Trayvon Diggs. Okay, I'm not sure that I'm not sure that you always want to include Trayvon with yourself, but he said that it's been kicking me in the butt. He said Diggs brings it out of me every time, so it's going to be fun to keep training with him. I miss that guy, is what he said. He did put his body on the line a little bit yesterday. He joined in some defensive line position drills, worked on his hand technique and things like that. And then the other thing he did was he helped kind of coach up some of the guys that were on the defensive line, and they would ask things like, how do I look? How's my footwork? Those kinds of things. So I think that's all positive, right?
Sure.
The question is, if or when, how do the Cowboys get a deal done with him?
It's not going to be easy considering the offensive weapons that you have re-signed in recent years and spent money on, but you have to figure that's a major priority at this point, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Best defensive player.
Absolutely. Apparently, after practice, he was involved in the locker room in a big ping pong match as he took on one of the defensive tackles, and it became a heated matchup there in the Cowboys locker room. Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah. But again, like I said, at least he is, involved in the team and the camaraderie and things like that. Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboy coach, moved the ping pong table into the locker room because he wanted to build camaraderie. He says they're getting to it. We've got some guys. So the U.S. Olympic team is looking not only for flag football players, but we've got some ping pong aspirants in here. It's good stuff. Okay. So there you go.
It's going to be the difference.
That's good.
The ping pong table.
The ping pong table.
Take us to the promised land.
Yeah.
Playoff wins, here we come.
You just don't want Dak Prescott to sprain a finger or playing ping pong or something like that.
Has Trayvon Diggs showed up yet?
I don't know. I don't know if he's showed up yet or not.
Has he been involved in any ping pong?
I don't know. I saw a story where Brian Schottenheimer was talking about his time at Florida, and they were asking him about playing for Steve Spurrier, and he said that Coach Spurrier every year held Thanksgiving dinner at his house. He said I wasn't a starter at this point in time. This is his senior year, and he said the starting quarterback walked in, and Coach Spurrier said, "What would you like to drink?" And the guy said, "Glass of milk" or whatever, and then he finally got down to Schottenheimer, who was the third string guy, and he said, "What would you like to drink, Brian?" He goes, "I'll have a beer." And he goes, "So Coach Spurrier and I drank beer together." And he goes, "This is before the game." And he goes, "I ended up playing." He goes, "But usually the starting quarterback is not going to sit down and drink beer with the head football coach." But he got to do that with Coach Spurrier there in Gainesville. So at any rate, I thought that was, and it'll be interesting to see how Schottenheimer does as a first-time NFL head coach. I mean, he obviously was around his dad, who was a head football coach with Cleveland and Kansas City and San Diego, and had a tremendous amount of success in the regular year, just not in the playoffs. Couldn't get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think that will have anything to do with how well he'll do as a coach. I don't think that carries over.
Yeah.
Whether he's ready.
No outlier factor for...
I think there's a much bigger factor in what he's been as a coach previously, which has not been awesome.
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't been awesome. So
no, it
it's going to be really interesting to see how this works out.
You got to respect the Cowboys when everybody else is going younger and more energetic, enthused, and like just diving into things. For the young guys, the Cowboys go old.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.